Hey, how's it going? You good? MJ here, coming to you from a place where you shouldn't be if you have allergies. Came camping, but great time. But the nose is suffering again. So, just wanted to talk about something real quick before I give out or share a little demo. That is what has been happening with Sam Altman. He is in the public eye, and he does himself no favors by being so, I don't know what the word is. He says some stuff or does some stuff or posts some stuff. His entire company really, that is like, why would you do that? Like there was that issue with him and Dario in at some place, and then the OpenAI account posted a picture of him with the lobster claws when him and Dario didn't want to hold hands. And it's just like, it just seems very drama coded. But with that company, I've kind of taken a step back, which has been a detriment to me because they're one of the frontier labs, them and Anthropic, of course. And since the Anthropic stopped supporting OAuth outright for OpenClaw, it has been a struggle for me. There is GPT-4 Codex or Codex 5.4, but morally, I don't see myself being able to use OpenAI's models anymore. I feel like Sam Altman and Greg Brockman are hard to trust, but in the same breath, that doesn't mean that they should be attacked. What should continue happening is similar to what happened in that article from the New Yorker with Ronan Farrow and another writer. I want to say Kevin, but I'm not sure. That should be the norm. We should be investigating these people. And I'm not just talking about Sam Altman. I'm talking about all these people that have the fate of the world in their hands. I'm talking like Dario Amodei. I'm talking Demis Hassabis. I'm talking Sundai. I'm talking Satya. These people have a lot of power. They need to be under a microscope. The way that the world is right now, there's no regulation on AI. It seems to be just as loose. And sadly, out of greed, I feel that OpenAI would much rather us have a social media version 2 where it's not about us really connecting. It's about them profiting. And this technology is way too powerful for it to have similar effects to what happened with teenage girls and social anxiety and all the issues that we're facing with social media. We've already seen it, the articles of people being led astray by their AI. We want to make sure that that is taken care of and not something that we just sweep under the rug for profit. So for that reason, I've been struggling to find the best route forward with my OpenClaw. I can't use Anthropic's API too much because it's it's a little bit too costly, and I don't want to use Codex. So I've been forced to use some of the cheaper models on OpenRouter, and due to their limitations, I've started to learn about harness engineering, and I've done a lot of harness work to try to make sure that these models, because they're limited, stay within the specific guardrails. So I'll show and talk more about that as well. And I'm grateful for the countless people that have put out material on harness engineering because it's helped out a ton. And I'll show you my setup as well. Hey, what's up? MJ here, coming at you with a video about the OpenClaw issues I've been having since Anthropic dropped support for OAuth from OpenClaw. I would say they didn't drop support, but they enabled extra usage as the billing mechanism. That has caused a whole bunch of problems for me this week while I was in Gifu, Japan, celebrating my grandmother-in-law's 95th birthday. For the whole time I was there, I was trying to stay present, but in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, how do I tie all of this together so that my operations are still running smoothly? So here I have my screen from April 4th, and you can see me starting to ask questions about operating costs with Opus, which has been actually revolutionary with everything that I've worked on up to this point with OpenClaw. It has acted as an actual personal assistant, super useful. I can't wait until an open source model is as capable as Opus 4.6, but until that day, I am left scrambling and looking for alternatives that work. I'll walk you through what I have been doing over the past week and what I have replaced Opus 4.6 with, because I can't afford these costs, if I'm being real. And I think when I asked the model, I actually asked Opus this before it was too late, before they cut it off, it came up with these numbers, but I don't think that's serious based on my usage. And even this is a low ball, but $300 to $400 a month is not realistic. So I spoke about using, it gave some alternatives with Gemini 2.5 Pro, and I just don't think anything matches the relationship, if you will, with Opus 4.6 in regards to how good it felt. There is an alternative to that in the Codex version. Personally, I don't feel that I want to use OpenAI. The leadership there between Sam Altman and Greg Brockman have given me pause. So until OpenAI has leadership that I feel is moral and just, I can't personally use it. So I'm stuck trying to figure things out. This is a great thread, by the way, and I would recommend reading it, and also reading The New Yorker, but I don't have any money to subscribe to The New Yorker at the moment. All right, so back to business. I don't have Codex, and I know Peter, the creator of OpenClaw, has been busy trying to get a Codex 5.4, is it, to feel more personal as a personal assistant. But for me, I'm looking for something as well, and I haven't found it yet. But let's go through what I started doing. I do have Neighborhood United as my main project that I'm using or building to try to help people. When this happened, I asked Opus to share all of the soul, the user, the identity and rules with me, not the memory and not the tools, because the tools are specific to this assistant, but I asked it to share the same kind of feeling I get right now with Opus with me so I could test it out on my Neighborhood United personal assistant. And while it's been improved from my soul and my identity that I've shared with it, it's nothing. The model that it's using is mostly Minimax M 2.7, or now it's using GLM 5.1. Yeah, I'll let the cat out of the bag. So that's what I've resorted to in my personal, by way of bot, OpenClaw assistant as well. And while I was testing it out, everything seemed functional. It was talking to me. Let me scroll down to when I started switching over. But you see the way the wording didn't feel right. Seems like a big blob of text. And yeah, I was using Gemma 4 for a while, Minimax, testing those out, K2.5 again, but nothing felt right. The closest thing to that has been GLM 5.1, but that too it adds up if I'm using it as my main driver. And what I want my personal assistant to be is to have capabilities as a main driver and not use like a lower grade model, if you will. And that's no disrespect to Minimax and K2.5, but I want something to be the orchestrator. So as I said, I went through and started messing with GLM 5.1, and the results got better, but the cost is still adding up. So I've come to a place where I feel like until I get that open source model that is equivalent or exceeds Opus 4.6, I'm praying for DeepSeek to come out with something good. I have resorted to trying to get my harness in place, and the harness is the system that is used to steer the model if you will. So recently, the Claude Code harness, the source code was released, and it shows the harness that they use to keep Claude Code in place. We all have different use cases, and that's why a lot of our OpenClaws have different types of configurations based off of our needs. With that, you need a harness that is specific to your need. And this article at martinfowler.com provides some great insight into how to build a harness that is respectable and can reduce a lot of those mistakes. Because while Opus 4.6 is great, even that is not foolproof, much less models that are lower quality. A harness is something that can help out with that development. So I read through this. I just fed it to Claude locally that is remoted into my OpenClaw here, and asking it to review and find some improvements and a possible way to update the harness. So I'll mention that for next week. But without Opus 4.6 as my main driver, I've been trying to work on a few things, and one of them is with my project Saute, where I've added a button to go live. It was guarded because I needed the chefs to set up payouts before they can go and publish their accounts publicly online. And as a little bit of background for what Saute is, it is a platform where as a customer or a client, you're able to discover personal chefs. And as a chef, you're able to grow your independent culinary business. And I'll go straight to the dashboard. And as I mentioned, I added a go live button. So chefs are able to publish their profiles to the client or the public facing website. On this platform, if you are a chef, a personal chef, a private chef, you're able to get insights about your revenue and customers and trends, your order breakdown, the clients and client management. You're able to edit your profile and edit the areas that you serve. You're able to build your menu, ingredients, dishes, meals, so that you're able to show your customers or better manage the meals that you're serving to your customers. You can mix and match dishes and create meals from those dishes. And then you have the services that you offer, where you could do a single meal order, or you can do a service of a meal prep, for example, where you go to someone's house and you prep meals for them for the week. And the part that is a differentiator has been this sous chef, which is powered by OpenClaw, where you're able to have a personal assistant that gives you context into the families that you're serving. So you have two modes: general mode, where you're able to ask questions, but then you could go into the context of your customers, and you could ask your assistant to come up with menu ideas, which is something I know a lot of chefs struggle with, but right now it's failing because the API provider is not tied up, but it does work in production. So that is it. You could do multiple things with this sous chef besides just asking for context into like meal prep and things like that. But it has been super helpful with many different tasks that a personal chef could and need to use to better serve their clients. It has, as a personal assistant, if you're creating a meal for a client and they have allergies, it flags that and says, hey, MJ has allergies to shrimp. Don't create a seafood paella with shrimp in it, as an example. So something really useful, and I've been using OpenClaw to help build this out for this week, and it has not come without any hiccups, but I feel like it's in a good place, and most of that help has been with GLM 5.1 as the project manager, me going back to my personal PC with Claude Code and then doing the development work, and it seemed to have been pretty useful. The other project that I've worked on is the Academy Watch, where the goal here is to try to get eyes on up-and-coming talent in Europe, and we're able to track their progress and how they're doing, because at the moment there's not really a platform that does this, and we've created something that is able to go in and track the academy of big clubs like Manchester United and see how members of their academy within the past 4 years, at least for now, have been doing, see the progress that has been made. We sold a player, how have they been doing? Was that the right decision? We have people in the academy, how are they doing? And what can be done to make their development better. So here you see a list of released players, you see sold players, you see academy players, you see players that have made their first team debut this year, you see players on loan, and I really like double tapping into Ethan Ennis because he has been the top performer in the academy this year. And here you see, while he was a Liverpool academy member, he came to the right side of that area in England and joined Manchester United's academy, and he has been doing a very good job. I would say he's on loan right now at Fleetwood Town, and by all accounts he's had an excellent season. And this is the kind of value that we hope to provide, these key insights into Ethan's development match log and his player journey. So that's one player, but if we wanted to, we could go into the academy network and see different players that are part of the Manchester United Academy. We have Ethan Ennis here. Ethan Williams, excuse me. Two Ethans in the academy. And we can see player data on Ethan as well. And as you can see here from where they trained, you see the current players on the first team and where they came from. And I'm not sure why that's saying that they're in the... And here you can see the first team, where they trained, where it shows where we've gotten, which academies we've gotten some of our players from. This provides insight so that we know, I say we, so Manchester United could know what academies are providing the best players and which teams are most helpful in being a feeder, if you will, for a lack of a better term, to the first team. There are many teams that have feeder clubs that help them, where they could send their players on loan, or they could get players from that team to help them help the first team. And then lastly, we have the goal assistant, and it is really useful in getting analytics. So for example, if I asked it a question here, which Big Six Academy is producing the most first team players, or who are the top performing loan players this season, let's see what it comes up with. And here you go. It provides some value. We have Big Rasmus with 14 goals and 3 assists. That's a nice return from Napoli. And we have other players here. Ansu Fati. Ethan Ennis is mentioned here as well as one of the top players. It also has Marcus Rashford in here as well. But this kind of stuff, and we could even go deeper and get more data. And you could save this output, create a PDF from it, and share it with people in the academy, for example. And I just want to go back and say, I did check this out. It's showing that we have 5 homegrown players for Manchester United. And while I see Kobe here and Montato, who I believe has had appearances, and Shea Lacey, I would have to go back and check these players. This is bootstrap work, if I'm being real with you. I don't have the money to get a big API provider. So as this being bootstrapped, I'm using a API provider it's really been helpful. And I can't complain about price and service, but I'm using API Football, and they don't really have that much data on younger players. So I'm trying to make this work and show it as a proof of concept. I do believe this will be valuable once the data becomes more realistic, closer to 100% accuracy as possible. And I've been working towards getting that done. I've shared some stuff on Reddit and have gotten roasted for the inaccuracies. It's not AI related as an issue. The issue is mostly the data and me making sure the data is accurate. And that might be a skill issue on my part, but I do believe I can get there. So I just wanted to be real with you. There might be mistakes here, and I'm open to sharing them. And the next goal with my OpenClaw project management and me doing the work with Claude Opus 4.6 is fixing this and making sure that it is as airtight as possible, or as close to airtight as possible as I can get it. So that's what I've been working on this week with OpenClaw and the projects that I've been focused on. There's another one with Neighborhood United. Of course, the work there has not been as intense this week, but I'm sure it will be. But all these 3 projects are made possible through having a personal assistant like OpenClaw. And fingers crossed on the capability of open source models reaching up to and even exceeding Opus 4.6. So that's been MJ. Thanks for checking this out, and tune in next time for me sharing what I've been working on with my OpenClaw and my development work. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I would love to know what you're working on as well. I believe that it is up to us to start building solutions that help our communities, and I have been doing that with Saute and Neighborhood United. The Academy Watch is one for myself and one that I hope can fund things like Saute and Neighborhood United. I haven't gotten any money yet, but I'm going to keep pushing, and this is my attempt at sharing it with the world. But let me know what you think. Is this idea terrible? Is it worth pursuing? I believe so, but I'm curious to know what you think. But yeah, that's been it. That's been MJ. Thank you. Peace.